I love it. Hey, welcome back, everybody. 9:15. We're taking a live look at Big Bear. Sharing some memories.
Yeah,
we'll get to in a moment.
Yeah, Jeanne Wolf is with us right now. We're going to talk about Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds.
But before we do, we're going to check in with Phil Schumann.
Yes.
So we're talking, of course, about Carrie Fisher, who died. And then a day later, her legendary mother, Debbie Reynolds, passed away. And we're calling it, she died of a broken heart. Phil Schumann is live in Beverly Hills, where the family is gathering today in a private ceremony. Good morning.
So light rain and 55 degrees here on Coldwater Canyon in Beverly Hills. Their mother-daughter bond so close that in later years they came to literally live right next door to each other in a gated compound here off Coldwater Canyon. And what we understand is that at some point today there will be a private memorial service for a close-knit group of family and friends who knew both Debbie Reynolds and Carrie Fisher. We understand that Carrie Fisher has been cremated, as was her request. Debbie Reynolds will be buried at Hollywood Hills Forest Lawn. That could be as early as tomorrow. And then we understand that the family is planning a very public memorial service to celebrate the lives of these two extraordinary women at some point in the future. That hasn't been announced. So camera crews lining up here on Coldwater Canyon, very busy road, of course, hoping to see who might be coming or going. No details released other than the very basic outline of the plan. Live in Coldwater Canyon, I'm Phil Schumann, Fox 11 News. Steve Araxia.
Phil,
all right, thank you very much.
much.
You mentioned Jeanne Wolf is here, and of course, you know a lot about this, sharing your memories of Debbie Reynolds and Carrie Fisher. You knew them both.
I interviewed Debbie so many times, and I've been to Carrie's home and interviewed both of them. Debbie used to say, "Oh, Jeanne, we're still doing it."
Yeah, yeah.
and she, you know, you say she died of a broken heart. I think it's true, but I also think it's just she had that will and determination and had to watch her daughter die, and I think that
something no parent ever wants to experience.
I think she just stopped willing herself alive.
And you have said she had gotten quite frail, Debbie had.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I always think of her as a rock, all that energy, but she wasn't in great shape.
No, she wasn't in great shape, but she looked fantastic. HBO has a documentary that'll start airing Saturday. It is one of the most remarkable bits of reality of two celebrities you will ever see, because you can see Carrie trying to take care of her mom determined to still go out and do shows.
I'll tell you what, we have a clip of it. So why don't we take a look at it right now?
Mother and I live next door to each other. Mommy, I'm home. You cannot keep that phone. That's from when they first invented cell phones.
Works fine.
It's ridiculous.
Just dandy.
I have to go and start rehearsals for Star Wars 72. I'm concerned because my mother is not feeling well. This for the show?
I forgot I had it.
That's what's good about losing your memory, is there's so many surprises.
It's like the old days.
Oh,
very sweet.
I love that relationship. And you know, they had a hard time. There was a period of time for many years they weren't speaking. They went through a rough patch, but to see them come back together, live next door to one another, it's so touching.
Oh, it was
and moving.
amazing. You look, Jolie Fisher, who is, you know, Connie Stevens' daughter and Eddie Fisher's daughter, Carrie's sister in a way, said that she was at the hospital and that the minute she saw Carrie go, she said, "I knew Debbie wasn't going to make it. You know, I knew Mama Debbie wasn't going to make it." And in the documentary, you'll see Debbie looking back and talking about Carrie's troubled years, and her eyes well up with tears, and you know what a mother goes through.
We're looking at these pictures of Eddie Fisher. Now, a lot of you are way too young to remember, but
you've heard.
This was bigger than Angeline, right? This is bigger. She married Eddie Fisher, and then he left her for Elizabeth Taylor in one of the great triangles in history, and then she left him for Richard Burton when she was shooting Cleopatra. If that had happened now, that would pretty much swamp every other kind of celebrity coverage.
It would dominate the news. And it's interesting because Debbie, you know, things weren't just as open. So Debbie said she was at a party and she sort of overheard someone saying, "Debbie doesn't know." And she, you know, went home, tried to call Eddie, He wasn't in his hotel room. Called Elizabeth's hotel room with an assumed name. I think it was Dean Martin, and Eddie answered. And that's how she found out.
She found out that he was with Liz.
Yeah.
Wow. So I had heard of that story, so that did really happen.
Well, you know, Debbie always told the truth. The thing about
Wow.
Debbie
That's right.
and Carrie is that they told everything that happened to them, but with an enormous amount of wit and sense of humor.
The same word I use about her in my getting to interview her through the years. She was, you know, America's sweetheart, but she was so bawdy.
Oh, it's true.
She knew her way around an off-color joke better than anybody.
Well, she had this sweet voice, and everything would be dear this and dear that. And she'd get on the nightclub stage, and as you said, she'd tell a slightly off-color joke, and the audience was like, ugh, but they loved it.
And it wasn't a walk in the park. Carrie Fisher, as anybody knows, had her mental issues. She was manic depressive, bipolar, etc.
But she was so open about it. She made fun of it in a way.
That
and
was later
that
on,
made
though.
people-
that was
when
later
they
on,
understood
yeah.
it,
That made
yes.
people, though, feel, you know, like they could relate
Well,
to
they
her.
felt
and-
connected.
yeah,
Yeah.
She said-
definitely. She injected humor in a really serious topic.
She kind of created a community. You know, I keep thinking today there's a memorial, and it's kind of like the reality stage of grief, because we've been taught, Debbie and Carrie, we knew her, but those people don't seem real
Right.
to most, and now they're going to be buried. It's like
Right.
too much reality.
And they're real people, and they have family, and they have brothers and daughters and granddaughters.
Billy Lord,
Yeah.
Carrie's
Yeah.
daughter, 24 years old.
Losing a grandmother and a mother. I love this picture our producer put together because it just really, you know, says it all right here.
That is a great-
Jeannie, what's the legacy that each of these women leave behind?
Debbie leaves an enormous legacy of a strong woman who had to act delicate. They called her the kid. You know, she was always ladylike, but she fought to keep working, and she fought for charities. Carrie, it's hard to remember that she was one of the first that wrote a real tell-all autobiography that really shared her life.
And this is the enduring shot of Debbie right there, from Singing in the Rain, and just before that, singing Abba Dabba Honeymoon with, I think, Carlton Carpenter.
Yep,
I got that right?
Carlton Carpenter.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, you knew that.
I did.
You are so cool.
That's right.
I didn't even know that.
No, I just want to say, we got to go. I first met Jeannie Wolf. I was 19 years old.
Wow, I wanna hear that
You're still
story.
the cutest girl in town, what can I tell you?
Thank
All
you.
right.
So good to see you.